Hello, this is Daniel Rich again. I'll be talking briefly about Lightwave and some of the nodes that I've released lately. So let me just jump into it. I've gone into Lightwave. I have a couple of spheres I created, just simply going to modeler tools and creating some spheres right in layout. I'm going to go into the node editor, make sure the checkbox here is turned on. Go into the node editor, and I've already imported it, but I'll go ahead and show that the process as well. I'll go to right click and import nodes and select the first one, which is occlude nodes. And what this is, something I added by accident. So what this is it's a very simple ambient occlusion filter. It can be used as a building block for other nodes or something like that. That's how it was originally intended. You can probably think of some uses for it, though. There are three required parameters or properties that you have to plug in. One is world spot. This is one of my older ones where I didn't correctly name the node connections, but it is the world spot that goes into position. It is the normal that goes into normal, and we got a make color node from the tools section there in the sidebar there, and we're going to take this shaded color and plug it into the diffuse shading input. And as you can see, we now have a sort of a ambient occlusion effect going on as these balls interact and intersect. Alright, so I believe there's some kind of light or something that's causing the straight line across here. Let me see if we made this. Yeah, alright. So I think we have a really bright light on this surface that's causing that, and that shadow that's causing that light across there. But anyways, that is the occlude node, which is included in this archive that I've distributed. Alright, I'm going to also show one other one, which is called let me go into it. This is called the Global Illumination Lambert Shader. It is one of the nodes included in this archive. I'll go ahead and import that just to show it. It's called Global Illumination Lambert Shader Nodes. I'll go ahead and connect the required parameters or properties. We need the world spot, not the object spot, but the world spot. It has to be in world coordinates. We need the surface normal, which is labeled normal. And we need a color. I just used a make color tool under the sidebar on the nodal panel. And that just lets us make a simple color. You could also use layers. You could use any of the procedural or image mapping tools as well, but this is pretty simple to work with. You also have an optional specular parameter that could be added. There are some specular options here, Fong, and those sort of things. You could add those optionally. Alright, now we take the diffuse shading output and plug it into diffuse shading input on this on the node editor, and we are finished with that. And as you can see here, we have not only our just regular Lambert shader shading like you see in Lightwave normally. That's basically how all Lightwave objects would look with that Lambert shading, but we've also gained ambient occlusion and some reflective light. As you can see, this tiny bit of reflective light on this on the back side of this face, and I believe if I added a luminous object, you would see that as well. So let's try that out. Go to modeling tools, go to add a primitive, or maybe just a sphere will be fine. Let's see. I can find that. Let's see. Not sure what I've clicked on though. There it is. And I'm going to give this some luminosity and make it red perhaps. Alright, so this should cast light on our objects if we get them close enough, that is. And as you can see there on this, on the back side of this one, you're picking up some red, and some of this also bounced light off of this sphere in the front. And if I can select that, I'll move it as well. Let's see. Not even sure which axis I'm on here. Okay, so anyways, as you can see, this not only creates ambient occlusion, but it also creates a global illumination solution of some sort. Now, it would take a number of anti-aliasing passes to give that a very smooth result. Maybe even 100 anti-aliasing passes. I'm not really sure how many. But that is basically global illumination Lambert shader. Somewhat similar to our path tracer, but more similar to radiosity. A little bit more complex than path tracing. Similar ideas. We're generating a random normal. We're linear interpolating it with the normal on the surface, so that you get a semi-random normal. We're sending out a let's see, getting a little confused in here. We're sending out a ray trace in there somewhere. I see. There's a compound node that actually does occlusion and radiating for us. Inside of here, there's a ray trace node. Some logic. Basically, ray tracing will return the length of a ray and the color that was found at the end of the ray. So, if we want to know if something is occluded, the length of the ray will be less than 0. So we use logic and make B -1, and we say if A is greater than B, then return true or false, depending on which condition was true. And this basically gives us a shadow if the ray was occluded, and we multiply that by a color. We also add in the we add in the original color that was found by the ray at the end of the ray that was ray traced, and those are output to somewhere we're adding also, yes, we're adding also this Phong shading. So I guess by default we have a Phong shader as our specular map, but you can replace that optionally. But we do have some specularity in there, which is Phong by default. That is added to the final result, which is our radiosity and occlusion, and that is finally output to our diffuse shader. So that is roughly how that works. And let me get out of this somehow. But all that is encapsulated in a nice, neat little node, so you don't really have to know any of that. Alright, so those are two of the nodes that were included in this package. Hope you watched the other video about the smooth step and arch interpolate nodes as well. Hope to be also working on a bent normals node at some point in the future if I have time. Not sure if I'll get to it or not, but there are some things that would be interesting that could be done with that. Hope you join us on thebest3d.com. That's Philip Stager's website, where he does tutorials involving painting, animating, and those sort of things. And my personal website is squirreldome.com. Be sure to join us there. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed the nodes. Talk to you later.